Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and this is one I've been hoping to play for a while. It's War Story, designed by my friend David Thompson, along with Dave Neal. And disclaimer that I got a review copy of this one. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So this is a war narrative choose-your-own-adventure game, which just sounds awesome to me, because for those who don't know and haven't watched the channel much, I like war games a lot, and I love choose-your-own-adventures. I've loved those since I was a kid. You've got 3 different missions with branching goals and objectives and encounters. You've got a bunch of different characters you can put in your team with different skills and some with special abilities. I'm going to play through most or all of mission 1 out of 3 in the game, and you can play these as one-offs or you can put them together as a campaign. And full disclosure, I wanted to show my honest first reaction as I play through this first mission. So I have not played any of this game yet. I've read the rules a few times. I've got all the errata. I've actually written them in the book. There's not a ton of them, but they are up on the BGG page. So if you don't like spoilers and want to play the game yourself, I would just watch for a little bit and then, get a sense of how the mechanics work. And I will try to have a review of this one once I've played through all of the missions and see how things go. Well, let's jump right in. This is not a mechanics-heavy game. But just to show you a bit of setup, I have put my 4 chosen characters' names up here. I'm doing Mission 1, the Marquis of Moret. Again, you can play this as a campaign or just as a one-off. And you start with Firearms 2 and Skills 4. These are tokens I'm going to be given for mitigation of tests. They go over here on what's called your team pool, this token here, and I've chosen 4 characters and given each of them a pawn color. You leave one pawn on them to always identify which one is them, and then sometimes in combat you'll move the other ones onto other things. Each of my characters has 5 stats. They've got firearms and then 4 skills. Okay, awareness, influence, stealth, and technical. These tokens here can be used to boost your firearms when you're attacking, and these skill tokens can be used to boost any of the other 4 skills, but these can't boost firearms, and that can't boost skills. Yeah, so I went for Yannick, who's pretty balanced, but has the best technical stat out of the crew. And I went for Odile, or Odile, who has great awareness. I was trying to, kind of cover all my bases. I went for Christian, who's awesome at firearms. So he only has 2, but he has a sharpshooter ability. Some of the characters have abilities, some don't, which says he begins with 3 firearms tokens that can only be used when he's using the sniper rifle. So I do have a sniper rifle in my starting equipment, and as long as he's got it, he should be a crack shot, at least for a while. And then finally, I've got Bernadette, who's great at stealth. None of my people, actually, geez, I just realized my influence is kind of terrible, isn't it? She's got it too, and everybody else has 1. So I'm not going to be talking my way out of much. I also start with a silenced pistol for each of my characters. That always happens. And then I start with a concussion grenade. But let's jump right in, read our little intro to the mission, and see what's going on. Your training for the Special Operations Executive is intense but exhilarating. Over an initial period in an English country house, you are taught the fundamentals of espionage while your language skills are tested and polished. Next, you are sent to the village of Erisag in the Scottish Highlands for combat training. For 2 months, you dodge across moors ablaze with purple heather and weave your way along the shores of Loch Nankiel. I'm going to say right now, I'm not sure how to pronounce any of the stuff in the French or the Scottish, seeking out your targets. You come to know a variety of weapons very well, including your own hands and, crucially, your silenced well-rod pistols. After returning to England for parachute training and specialist courses on tradecraft, ciphers, and demolition, you're ready for deployment in France. You'll be part of the Magpie Network, conducting operations in the Moret region of Brittany. Okay, complete the following setup steps. So I'm going to read the mission briefing. We'll get to that in a second. I'm going to draw the map. We'll get to that in a second as well. I already selected 4 agents. I already got all the equipment listed here. Choose whether you want to enter France by boat or paradrop. The advantage of entry by boat is that you are much less likely to be seen, but it will take longer to get to the area of interest. The advantage of entry by paradrop is rapid deployment inland, closer to the likely location of the Maquis, but you may be sighted by German patrols. I think I'll do boat. So yeah, I'm going to read the mission briefing, then show you map 1.4, and then we'll get to entry 400 for my boat entry. So you can see you have some branching stuff right away in the game. So yeah, each of the missions in the game has its own little top secret envelope with stuff inside. Special Operations Executive, Mission Briefing. Operation Lighten, 18th of October, 1943. Location, Moret Coast, Brittany, France. The mission. The Maquis resistance fighters of the Moret Coast are central to Allied operations in that region. The primary Maquis cell was in the coastal town of Egoli, but in the last few days the Germans located them and they were forced to flee. British command lost contact with the group and their leader, Felix Albin, as they went into hiding. A German communication intercepted this morning suggests the Germans have located the Macassards' new hiding place and intend to launch an attack in 2 days, aiming to wipe them out. It is essential that we reestablish contact with the group and assist in their escape from German forces. Furthermore, Maquis agents were recently sent to gather information about security measures at a German intelligence facility, and it would be desirable to obtain that information. You will enter the region under the cover of night, either by boat or paradrop, locate the Maquis, and provide any assistance they need. We've got some code names and objectives. The Lighthouse refers to the Maquis network. The Galleon is a hidden arms store in the countryside. And the Storm is the German command. And our two objectives: locate the Maquis of Moretz, last seen heading north from Egoli, and assist in their escape from German forces, and obtain any information gathered by the Maquis on the German intelligence facility. Nice. Okay, and then here is my map. Okay, so here's the town they mentioned. The harbor, somebody's gardens, Le Renard. Is that the fox, I think? Yeah. Forest, what is that? Martial Ravine, a quarry, hills, and the German listening post. All right, cool. I'll just keep that nearby. Here we go into 400. A few hours after dark, you glide silently into Egoli down the river. You know of 3 places in the town linked to the Maquis where you may be able to find some clue as to where they have gone. So yeah, you're going to often have cards like this that you pick from. So we got 16, 26, and 35. All right, let's zoom in a bit more. So we've got the Gardens de Juan Joseph, Le Renard, and the Harbor Warehouse. And you get like a little description. So let's see. These gardens are situated on a hill on the eastern edge of Egoli. British intelligence has noted that they are used by the Maquis, but it's not known what for. Le Renard, the Maquis used to meet at this inn. There could still be documents or other items hidden or of a value here. And the warehouse. The Maquis uses warehouse to smuggle equipment and weapons in and out of Egoli. And you can see this is where we had some of our errata. These are not supposed to have a day option. They only have a night one. But you'll see for this mission, we start out in the early nighttime of the 19th of October. When it tells us to advance time, we're going to circle the next entry. Then we'll be in the late night, and then eventually we'll go to morning of the 20th. All right, let's see. Seems like the gardens are probably the safest to kind of sneak around, right? Whereas entering buildings that the Germans might be watching would be a bit more dangerous. So let's start out with the gardens. The gardens are surrounded by a tall metal fence with padlocked gates. Presumably, they are only open during the day. So we can search the perimeter for a way in, try to pick the padlock, or just pick a new action. Let's search the perimeter. I'm not sure. Well, what would be a picking the padlock use? Maybe like technical, which we're actually pretty okay, decent with. Sure, let's try to pick the padlock. So it says check highest technical. So some checks will have you total the skills of your characters or certain groups of your characters. Some will just check your highest. So in this case, because I brought Yannick, who has a 3, I don't have to use any skill tokens. There's no rolling in the game. You just use your skill values or add them up. So yeah, Yannick's got 3, but let's say I didn't have him and only had Bernadette with 2. Then I could have spent one of those 4 skill tokens that start on my supplies to boost her up to a 3 and get the better entry. But these generally don't come back. You don't really get very many more, so you really want to be stingy about using those and only use them for checks that you think are really important. So we're going to 441. After a few minutes of work, the padlock clicks and springs open. You enter the gardens and begin a search. Total awareness. 2, 5, 7, 9. What the heck? Okay, so again, if we have to influence anybody, we are done, but right now we're doing everything right. So we get the best result for free and go to 406. After some time searching, you discover that many trees in the wood on the western edge of the garden have small eyes carved into them. You realize that they mark out a route that leads through the wood and ends at a tall tree by the fence. Is this tree important? The low branches make it easy to climb, and at the top you have an excellent view over Egoli, directly to the German command building in the center of the town. In a small hole where the branches meet, you notice something glinting, and reaching in, pull out a pair of binoculars. So the Maquis uses the spot to watch activity at the German command. You look through the binoculars of the building and see an officer seated at a desk, working, but nothing else of note. Still, these binoculars could prove useful, and the Maquis won't be needing them anymore. Climbing back down the tree, you leave the gardens. Okay, and it says I get equipment card E6, clearly the binoculars. I discard 16, so I can't go back to the gardens, and we get a new action. Cool. Here we go. It says an agent with these binoculars adds +1 to their awareness when in a surveillance position, which is indicated like this on the map. You'll see that all this stuff matters when we get to like the combat encounters. For now, we don't have to assign it to anybody. We just kind of have it in our general inventory. All right, so where to now? They used to meet at the inn, and they used to smuggle equipment. I feel like maybe the inn would be a little bit safer. Let's go there. Le Renard is a large, impressive building, but long past its prime. The exterior paintwork is crumbling and streaked with droppings from the boisterous gang of seagulls who have taken residence on the roof. Inside, an air of despondency hangs over the sparse clientele. You see 2 doors labeled no entry, one to each side of the bar. Okay, we draw a card, 5, and circle, and these are kind of like conditional events that you circle, and they might change something else that happens later. And then if O is circled, we would go to 148, otherwise we go to 130. All right, so here we go. We got like a little Picture of the bar. Interesting. And we circle. And we don't have O. Okay, choose. We can have one or more agents distract the barman while others try to access the no entry door on the left. That sounds like an influence check. Have one or more agents distract the barman while others try to access the no entry door on the right. Speak to the barman about the marquee and try to get him to help you. Yeah, I don't feel confident about distracting anybody, so let's just go to 464. It's still bad. My highest influence is Odelay with 2. I could spend half of my skill tokens to get to the 4. I think we're just going to suck. 257. You should have realized maybe going to the inn was a bad idea in the first place. You try to hint that you're friendly to the marquis and need help, but the barman's face remains stony. I don't know what you're talking about. That's my French accent, he says. But I do know that I don't like you. There's the exit. With the barman now very suspicious of you, he's going to be watching you like a hawk. Not seeing any other option, you acquiesce to his demand and leave. Outside, you weigh up your options. It looks like the one remaining patron is about to leave, and you suspect the inn might close once he does so, giving you a chance to break in. So it says here, discard all advantage tokens. These are tokens that look like this, and they can be used on firearms or on skill tests, so they're kind of wild. But as you can see from this entry, you gain them usually temporarily, and then like at the end of an encounter of combat, or at the end of a location, or whatever, you'll lose them if you haven't already used them. So you kind of want to use them as soon as you can. All right, to wait for the inn to close and try to break in. If O or P is circle, we don't have either of those. Otherwise, ha 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 ha. Guy's watching us closely. But we have pretty good stealth. Like we got 1 3-person. Let's try to break in, maybe? After the last patron leaves, the lights on the ground floor all go out. One light comes on in an upstairs bedroom, but that goes out as well after a few minutes. You wait a short while to give the innkeeper a chance to fall asleep, then look for a point of entry. Unfortunately, the old place seems surprisingly secure, with robust locks and shutters, and even bars on some of the windows. There's one window on the side of the building that has a loose bar, and a shutter that seems like it could be broken open, but it won't be easy. Okay, I'm going to use one of my 4 skill tokens to get us to a 4 technical, boosting Yannick starting 3. Takes a while, but eventually you get the bar removed and the shutters open, giving you just enough space to squeeze through. As quietly as you conduct a search. Eventually, in a small room on the side of the bar, you notice marks on the floor suggesting a bureau has been pulled away from the wall on multiple occasions. You drag it towards you to reveal a hole behind it containing a folder of documents. A quick flick through them tells you they belong to the marquis. You take them, push the bureau back into place, and head outside. Once outside, you leaf through the documents for anything that can help you. There are some plans and diagrams of marquis bases and secret stores in the countryside, but little to indicate where they are. However, one document is very interesting. A German logistician in charge of distributing equipment to the troops appears to have been a defector working for the Marquis, secretly sending them weapons and supplies. He's referred to only by a code name, the Pigeon. A note at the bottom of one of the documents reads, Pigeon has been exposed, now on the run from the storm, heading for Lighthouse. What was Lighthouse again? Oh, just like the Marquis, okay. If found, give shelter. Has the Pigeon been captured by the Germans? If not, perhaps he would know where the Marquis have gone. Okay, circle Q, nice. There we go. And then we don't have O or P, so we're just going to go do another action, which means we're visiting the harbor. As soon as you enter, it's evident this place has been found and searched by the Germans. You suspect you will find little of use here. Then you notice a sudden movement in the shadows. Highest awareness. Odelay's got 3. It's a woman who looks like a local. She seems to be trying to run past you rather than directly at you. Open fire? Jesus. No, let's shout at her to stop. The lone woman stops and falls to her knees, frightened and exhausted. She's clearly not a threat. You aren't German soldiers, she mutters, looking up at you with hope in her eyes. No, you say, but who are you? She pauses a moment before saying, I was looking for the people who use this place. Are you looking for them too? Realizing she must have a connection to the Marquis, you tell her who you are, and she breathes a sigh of relief. I'm Leonie, she says. I live in Egeli and help the Marquis. Carried messages for them. I heard the Germans had discovered them and that they had to run. I came to see if anyone was left. Do you know where they went, you ask? Leonie shakes her head. I only helped a little, I don't know much. Okay, if Q is circled, yes. If N is circled, yes. I think we do the first one that applies, so 177. Do you know who the Pigeon is, you ask Leonie. Yes, she replies. It was the code name for a man called Egon Keller. He worked for the German army, but was helping the Marquis by secretly sending them equipment and weapons. Then he was discovered and ran. The Germans offered a high price for his capture. It's rumored that the Bohan gang, dangerous local smugglers, caught him and are holding him at their farmhouse at Colline Rouge. I can tell you how to get there. If Egon Keller was sending equipment to the Marquis, he may well know where they have bases outside of Egeli and where they may have gone. If you rescue him, maybe he can lead you to them, and it would also prevent the Germans interrogating him. Okay, we're going to advance time, discard the warehouse, so draw card 25, and then pick a new action. Okay. So again, advance time means that it's still nighttime, but it's the late night. Okay, now I've got the Bohan Gang's farm, where they're holding Egon Keller the pigeon, intending to hand him over to the Germans. Oh, we better go. 198. The Bohan farm is a collection of buildings that sits in an isolated spot some way outside Eggerly. There's light coming from a barn, and two men with guns are chatting outside. After you spend a while watching them, they head inside and close the door behind them. There doesn't seem to be any activity elsewhere, so you'll have to take out the men in the barn, and hopefully you'll find Egon there too. You split up and circle the farm looking for any signs of guards or traps. Oh yeah, awareness. This is my best one, right? Yeah, I got a 9 straight up, 258. You glimpse some snares near the barn, which you now know to avoid. You also see a lookout on the top of a nearby building with a ladder propped against the side, which leads up to his perch. To get to the barn, you'll have to deal with him first as silently as possible. Okay, we're going to circle K. And then we select one agent to sneak up the ladder and take out the lookout. We mark agents with little cubes, in this case blue, to show that they are like on that team, and then their skills and things might be referenced later on. Okay, so I'm going to pick Bernadette since she's got the best stealth, right? Seems like that's probably what they want me to use. And yes, indeedly. Okay, we go right to 386 with 3 stealth. Slowly and silently, you scale the ladder and approach the lookout. You are now just inches from him. I think I'm going to kill him. Sorry, buddy. 169. With the lookout dispatched, you regroup and approach the barn. Regrouping means that you take away all the cubes, so basically Bernadette has rejoined the team and she's not off sneaking by herself. Okay, now we're going into our first real encounter. Very excited for this. So it says draw map 1.2. It shows the layout of the farm, buildings, and position your agents can occupy as you assault the barn. And it did clarify this from the errata that you can use the concussion grenades in this encounter because they have limitations on when they can be used on an indoor location. All right, so here's 1.2, and here's what an encounter map looks like. We'll get to the position description first. So it says A, B, and C are indoors short-range assault positions. These 3 agents will enter the barn in order, A, then B, then C, and use room-clearing tactics to take out the gang and rescue Egon Keller. Position D is an outdoors cover position. An agent position here can fire on anyone emerging from the front door of the other building and potentially support agents in the barn. And then E is an outdoors long-range cover position. An agent position here with a long-range weapon is line of sight to both doors of the other building and the barn entrances. So to go back to the map, you'll see that the positions have numbers next to them. So A, B, and C, like I said, are required to have 1. And this symbol, a triangle with a dot, is short range. This symbol, a triangle with the kind of cross, is long range. And this one is both short and long range. And these refer to your weapon ranges. You'll see the pistols are short range, and this means that they are silent. They don't make noise. Whereas the sniper rifle is long range and makes noise, and the grenade is short range and makes noise. And you can see the line of fire for the different positions as you kind of decide. So D, I feel like I should have my sniper on E, right? So we can really make sure, like, if reinforcements come, that he can take them down. So yeah, I'm going to have Christian the sniper on E, and I'm going to give him the sniper rifle so he can use his skills. I'm also going to give him the binoculars in case it asks for his awareness. And then I'm going to have Yannick, that's my tech guy, because everybody else has 2 firearms except Bernadette, who has 1. I'm going to give him position A to go in first. Odelay, who's also got 2 firearms and 3 awareness, will be position B. And then Bernadette, who's got the most stealth but the cruddiest firearms, will be position C. And so the grenades, it says when assigning agents to positions, you may discard this card to add 1 advantage token to both positions A and B. So there's a one-time use. But I don't know how many encounters are going to be in this mission. I don't know how many of them are going to be, like, clearing a building. I feel like it's more likely to be me trying to defend myself from Germans. But also, it's nighttime. I don't really want to make noise right as I go in, right? Because I've got the element of stealth. So no, I'm not going to use the grenades. I'm just going to keep them in hand for another potential encounter later. All right, so we're all assigned, and it says if it's night, go to 469, otherwise go to 366. When you enter the barn, gun at the ready. 3 men are crowded around a central table playing cards. Your entrance takes them completely by surprise. One of them kicks over the table to provide cover while another stands and aims his gun. At the same time, you open fire. Okay, firearms at position A. That is Yannick, and he's got 2. Should I use one of my only 2 firearm tokens? If I'd used the grenade, then I would have had an advantage token here. I could have made it a 3 for free. Maybe I should use the grenade. And I'm going to use a token to go to 3+. Because realistically, this first entry is the most important to kind of get right? You move quickly into position while taking out the man who is aiming at you. Then you prepare to give covering fire to your fellow agents. Add an advantage token to position B and go to 499. Nice. And now she's ready. Now you enter the barn close behind your fellow agent. Oh, this is going to work out great. I'm going to use the advantage token to go to 491. Because that was Odelay, who already had a 2 to start. The one who's going to need some help is Bernadette. Although, I didn't actually do this on purpose, but Christian has like a great firing solution for supporting Bernadette's entry, so the fact that she only has one firearm might not be as terrible. You fire at one of the men and send him sprawling into a hay bale. Go to 383. As you enter the barn, you narrowly avoid a bullet. However, only one gang member remains. With the support of your fellow agents, you quickly eliminate him. Okay, if you have an agent at position D, otherwise 306. Crud, we don't, but we have E. Shouldn't E be? Well, okay. Okay, here we go. E. Oh, I guess it would have known whether we had somebody, because we had to do 3 and we only have 4 people, so it was D or E. It was really an either-or choice. Shortly after your fellow agents move into the barn and a firefight breaks out, lights turn on in the other building. A man bursts out the front door, running for the barn. At the same time, a man sneaks out the side door and moves to take cover in the woods near where you are hiding. Oh, God. To fire at the man moving to the barn, to fire at the man moving towards you. I feel like, my guy's good at long-range combat. I feel like I should kill the guy moving towards me first. Sorry, dudes. I check firearms at position E. I'm going to use one of his 3 tokens he can only use while he's using the sniper rifle to boost himself to 3. Again, this is my first time playing this, so I'm not sure if I should be more stingy if I'm going to have like 20 more fights. Your shot is on target and the man drops to the ground. The man running to the barn is almost at the door, but at the sound of your gunshot, he turns in your direction, only to be struck down by one of your bullets. Go, Christian! That worked out well. 102. Man, had to use some resources. That was pretty much flawless. We did well enough that we didn't even need C to make a check. With the gang out of the way, you search the barn. In a small room at the back, you find Egon Keller gagged and tied to a chair. He gives you a bloody grin as you release him. He's clearly taken something of a beating and his leg is badly wounded. Bullet to the knee, he says. That's how they caught me. You explain who you are and tell him that you need to find the Maquis. I know where they've gone to, he says, and German command knows too. They're planning an attack soon. The Maquis are in a ruined village in the forest to the north. From here you can reach it in about a day, with luck. How do we get there, you ask? When the Germans learn I'm free, the area around Agili will be swarming with soldiers, so I'd recommend you take an easterly route through the forest to Galgan and Martel Ravine. It'll be tough going on dirt roads, but hopefully you'll avoid capture. About the attack on the Maquis base, you say. Do you know anything about the German battle plan? Unfortunately, no, Egon replies, but German command thinks I do. So when they discover that I'm free and might have contacted the Maquis, maybe they'll change whatever plans they had. One thing I do know is that they are amassing a large force. There's not much hope of the Maquis winning the battle. The only option is to flee. You nod, processing this new information. Will you come with us? Egon shakes his head. With my injury, I'll only be a burden, he replies. Don't worry, I've got a contact in Agili who can get me away from here by boat, so I'll make my way. Good luck. Oh, they just repeated there. As Egon heads towards Agili, you head east. Okay, we return any tokens on the map and all advantage tokens that we didn't use. We discard map 1.2. Oh, and every action card, so we're just moving on. We add 1 tracking point. This is like how much the Germans are chasing us down. And we're going to advance time to the morning. So yeah, we're in the early day of the 20th, and we've got 1 tracking point. The forest of Galgan is a vast, deciduous forest, crisscrossed with dirt tracks and overgrown footpaths. You pick your way through the maze, trying to move north as best you can, but the terrain makes for slow progress. Okay, I was a genius for picking a where it is for this mission. I'm sure like other missions will lean more on other skills, but this is going great. We get straight to 9+ again with 354. Eventually, you come upon a wide dirt road that looks like it may cut straight through to the other side of the forest. From the trees, you notice a parked German Kufelzut 70 transport truck with 2 soldiers standing beside it smoking. As far as you can tell, there's no one else present. If you took the truck, you would get through the forest much faster, but you increase the chance of your presence being discovered by German command. That sounds like a terrible idea. Okay, I'm going to wait for the soldiers to drive away and keep going on foot. 126. After several hours of walking, you emerge from the forest and climb up a ridge to the top of the Martel Ravine. Oh man, advance time twice? I guess that makes sense. I didn't have a truck. The road leads down into the ravine. However, you do not want to continue along it any further because, with some surprise, you see a large German force at the bottom. You realize this must be where the troops are gathering in preparation for the attack on the Maquis base. All right, so it is already nighttime on the 20th. You could head along the ridge and then cross the ravine once you're a good distance from the Germans, but perhaps you should take this opportunity to spy on them first. If you do so, there could be a lot of information to observe and record. The more of you who go, the more intel you could gather, but the higher your chance of being seen. Okay, so I can immediately head along the ravine and go northward, or select one or more agents to move into the ravine and spy. Okay. Might be a terrible idea. I'm going to have Odelay with all her awareness go, and then Bernadette with her stealth. Although I don't think 3 and 1 cancel each other out. That's not how being quiet works. If Odelay's making a lot of noise. Whatever, we'll see what happens. 103, if it is night. Oh, this is good. It is night. So that at least sounds like it'll be to my advantage. 347. Carefully make your way to... check low stealth of blue agents. I'm going to use one of my 3 remaining skill tokens to make her not be a 1. So that sounds like an instant recipe for death by Nazi. Okay, you find a concealed area from which to observe and begin your assessment of the German forces. Total awareness. Anything that adds to an agent's awareness while in a surveillance position also increases for this check. Nice. So that means that the binoculars help. So we've got to 6. Should I spend one of my 2 remaining skill tokens? Sure, let's get maximum effort here. 233. It's a large force the Maquis could not hope to defeat. I already know that. Nevertheless, you note down the main vehicles and units you see, along with an estimate of the number of soldiers. All information that could be useful in fending them off long enough to make a tactical withdrawal. Then you carefully head back up the ravine, and you think that you've managed to avoid being seen. Okay, so we all come back with regroup when we get I and J. Sounds potentially good, right? Well, then it says if Q is circled. Was that a good thing or a bad thing? When you've traveled far enough along the ravine that the German troops are out of sight, you make your way down, but the terrain is difficult and progress is slow. On the other side, things look even tougher. There's no way up that doesn't involve stretches of climbing. You have some basic climbing equipment with you, so you take it out and carefully begin the ascent. Okay, we have no advantage tokens. Okay, if your highest technical is 4+, or you have 2 agents, each with a technical of 3. Shoot. So yeah, I have this left. If I boost Yannick to 4 technical, that's it. But this could be like near the end. Oh no, I haven't even... what are my 2 objectives? Okay, objective 1 is locate the Maquis. I'm about to do that. Objective 2 is obtain any information gathered by them. So I feel like I'm going to get both objectives just by helping them escape. And I feel like it might be more combat than skills in a second. I'm using my last one. It's such a dumb idea. You safely reach the top of the ravine and continue north, following the directions you were given by Egon Keller. You enter a hilly, forested area and several hours later glimpse a ruined village ahead, the Maquis base. Halt! A voice calls out from the trees to your right. You realize there are many gun barrels pointing your direction from the undergrowth on both sides of the road, and you glimpse several Basque berets, a distinctive hallmark of the Maquis. Who are you? Friends, you reply. We were sent to find you. British intelligence lost contact with you when you fled Eggerly. There's a moment of silence, then a tall, middle-aged woman emerges from the trees. She has a gentle face, and you'd think that there wasn't anything to fear from her at all if it wasn't for her bright, fierce eyes which look over you with clear suspicion. Tell us how you got here, she says, and everything you know about us. You do as she asks, and tell her you want to speak to Felix Albin, leader of the Moret Maquis. Gradually, the fierceness in her eyes lessens, although it never leaves them completely. She raises her hand, and numerous armed men emerge from the forest and stand around you. I am Jacqueline. Felix is my son, she says, but he's been wounded badly. Follow me. You are led through dense forest to a thin, overgrown deer track. Following this upwards, you emerge into a clearing on a hillside with a few old, abandoned farm buildings. There's a sturdy-looking stone bridge over a small river. To the south, you can see marshland, and to the north, more forest. Inside a dilapidated house by the river lies the unconscious Felix Albin. At his side is a young man with a long, thin beard who stands as you enter. This is Dr. Ludwig Ziegler, says Jacqueline, gesturing at the man. He was a medic in the German army, but now he's with us. Doctor, these are SOE agents here to help. The doctor nods. If you're wondering why I'm here, let's just say I couldn't stay. I can't do these accents. Let's just say I couldn't stand the awful coffee anymore. He grins and takes a swig from a tin cup. Sadly, I've found that's one thing both sides have in common. Jacqueline smiles, but without warmth. How is Felix? He will live, I think, but he's in no state to lead. The Germans know you're here, you say. They're planning an attack. You need to prepare to move out. Jacqueline sighs. We're waiting for some of our people to return. They've obtained information on the Moret German intelligence facility. If we leave without them, we not only lose that information, but they may fall into the hands of the Germans. So, you say, we need to hold off the Germans until they get here. Help us, says Jacqueline, suddenly with a hint of desperation. I've led small squads, but never engaged in larger battles. You may know better how to defend this place. You nod. All right, we'll do what we can. An hour later, you've been introduced to the Maquisards and surveyed the equipment they have available. You're now poring over a map of the area, considering your best move. Okay, we're advancing time and drawing a map. So what's cool is we're still a day early, because I assume the Germans are going to attack on the 21st. And yeah, it says if it's 21st of October, we go to 193. It's not, though, right? Yes. It's still the 20th, so we'll go to 335. But first, let's see the map. Okay. We've got an optional, like 0+ A position short range, and observing that road. We've got an optional E position long range, with kind of a good gun emplacement here. C, short range, holding out the main road. F, observing and long range. Oh, man, everything's optional. So we have way more options of how we assign people this time. D's got kind of double duty with short and long range, and B's only short range and observation for this road. Hopefully our surveillance will tell us which way the Germans are going to come from. The Maquis have some potentially useful equipment. Tellermine 35 anti-vehicle mines, materials to improve cover, and a good but damaged radio. Thankfully, you're sure that you have some time before the Germans attack, but you must choose how to spend it most effectively. Gosh, if we had been on the day of, this would have been terrible. Okay, so my high cycle is 3+, so I get X. Then it says you have 4 options for battle preparation, but it takes time to implement them. You may not pick both option 1 and 2. You only have a radio equipment for one thing. When you circle early or late on 21st of October, the German attack begins and you can do no more preparations. Oh, yeah, okay. Advance time twice for all of these. We're only doing one of these. Okay, to repair the radio equipment and intercept the German communications. Or repair the equipment and jam German communications. To place anti-vehicle mines along the roads leading to the camp near position A, B, and D. To improve the physical defenses, cover and concealment at position C and D. I'm going to do the anti-vehicle mines. That sounds friggin' awesome. So we're going to do Y. And A, B, and D have anti-vehicle protections. That should help them out. We got a ton of stuff circled, but a lot of stuff not circled. So yeah, it's already the day. They're going to attack. Meanwhile, Dr. Ziegler is working hard to get all the wounded Maquis fighters fit for battle. If he provides some assistance, he can also treat any injured agents. Oh, for each skill token you discard from the team pool, restore one injured agent to healthy. Well, never mind, we're all healthy. I mean, we have no tokens left, but we're all healthy. Once you've treated any injured agents and completed your battle preparations, the day of the attack arrives, you're prepared to deploy your troops. Here we go. Okay, so we draw a card 2 and 8 white cubes. Each white cube represents a small unit of Maquis fighters with the attributes shown on card 2. Oh man, they have 3 firearms? Let's freaking go, y'all. And they have rifles and pistols? Okay, you can only use tokens from the team pool on a Maquis unit if an agent is present at the same position. When a Maquis unit is injured or killed, remove its cube from the map. This is great. This is so cool, man. I feel like I'm playing out Saving Private Ryan or something here. Which we've got 8 of them, and here they're going to talk through the same position we saw. So A and B are surveillance and ambush positions. Fighters here can watch for the approach of German forces along the wooded roads and potentially carry out an ambush if any troops come that way. C and D are the main defensive positions for the base. Fighters here will be the key to holding the German forces at base, so I gotta get people there. Position E is a long-range support position. Fighters here can provide support to position C. F is a surveillance and long-range support position. Fighters here can watch for the approach of German forces across the marshes to the south and can provide long-range support to D. Okay, so we get 1 Maquis unit on each position, and then assign your agents to the remaining 2 Maquis units to any position following the encounter rules on 14. Note the 2 additional Maquis units cannot be assigned to position E or F. They don't have enough rifles. Once the encounter begins, you can only use team pool tokens on Maquis. Yeah, we already got that. And then if Q is circle, which it is, we're going to go to 374. But let's go in and assign first. All right. So we got 1 on each of these spots. Okay, we got Christian the sniper. So I kind of want him on F or E. Let's have Christian on F, and I'll give him the binoculars again as well. And then Bernadette is my weakest person. I'm going to put her on C with a second Maquis, because that's like one of the main holdout positions, right? And I'm going to give Bernadette the grenade that she can use once for +2 firearms, because I think this is the end, and she's only got 1 firearm, so I need to kind of boost her up. I'll put the other Maquis on, was it D? Yeah, C and D are the main positions, so I think it kind of makes sense to double up there. And then let's have my other 2 people maybe be in like an ambush position. Yes, maybe I'll put Odelay with her stealth, or no, her awareness on A, and Yannick with his technical know-how on B. So everything's doubled up except E. I feel like maybe that's a plan. I mean, it's definitely a plan. A good plan. I don't know. And the only tokens I've got left, so remember we can boost the Maquis firepower as well as our own. I've got 1 on our shared thing, and then Christian has 2 more with his sniper rifle. All right, let's do this. Okay, so we're going right in. If T is circled, it is not. I don't know if that was good or bad. 388. Okay, check the highest awareness at position A plus the lowest stealth at position A. Oh, okay. Well, this is Odelay. So she's both the highest awareness and the lowest stealth with a 4. The Maquis have 2 stealth, but only 1 awareness, so it doesn't matter here. And I got no way to boost it. Darn it. Okay, they're going to know we're there. 466. You stay low in the undergrowth in case there are any German scouts around who could spot you. However, this severely restricts your ability to surveil the area, meaning you gain no information about whether the Germans might attack from this direction. Good job, y'all. 186. All right, check the highest awareness position, B. The Maquis only have 1, but Yannick has 2. So we're at least getting the second result here. You watch for any signs of the Germans, but aside from a few startled deer, you do not see anything. Q is circled, 392. Oh, Jesus, y'all. Check highest awareness in position F. Christian's there with 2. Awesome. So we also get a middle result. You detect movement across the march to the south, and looking closer, see 2 small convoys. Each consists of a German transport truck loaded with soldiers and an armored car with a mounted machine gun. This is not good. They're studying the Maquis camp with binoculars. The convoys alone couldn't take the camp, but there may be more troops and vehicles further down the hill behind them. It's hard to tell at this distance. Okay, based on what you know from surveillance or other information sources, you may now redeploy your agents to some of your Maquis units. You may redeploy any number of units between any positions. You may only move Maquis units from positions that have more than 1 unit and must leave at least 1 unit behind. Okay, so doesn't seem like they're coming from B. They definitely seem to be coming from F. So I'm glad that he's supporting F. We don't know about A, so I'm still going to leave her there. But I'm going to move Bernadette, even though she doesn't have that great firepower, to support D more. She's also got the grenades, so that might work. Not going to change anybody else, though, I think. Again, I wish I knew if they were coming from A. It seems like they maybe... Should I just move everybody down? I don't want to, like, overcommit. So, yeah, let's just do that. As your team of agents move through the Moret region, their actions may have brought them to the attention of German command. Okay, tracking points represent the extent to which German command are aware of your presence and the level of resources they have mobilized in response. Red cubes represent German forces. And we only have one tracking point, so they remain oblivious to your presence. We get 13, oh my gosh. So a lot of things could have happened. Okay. Oh, well, they did say there were going to be more than us, and that's more. Okay, now if J and or I are circled, I think that's when I was doing recon, so they're both circled, so 268. Your knowledge of the composition of the German force will give you an advantage in the upcoming battle. If both I and J are circled, add 3 firearm tokens to the team pool. Let's friggin' go. Good job spying, y'all. Good job spying. And then if Q... Why is it so much Q? Oh, maybe it's... I think... Maybe I didn't have to rescue that guy, and he said the German attack plan will change if he's rescued. So that sounds like if I play it again, I could have a completely different German assault. That's pretty cool. 455. Okay, put half the German red cubes to the north and half to the south. If you have an uneven number, place the extra token in the north. Crud. Okay, well, I was right. They're not coming from the east, at least with this version. Turn to 199. All right, so we got 6 down here and 7 up there. The convoys across the marsh begin to advance, and as the machine guns get within range, they open fire. Okay, for every 4 points of firearms, position D and F. Remove 1 red cube from the south of the map. Let's check that out. Ooh, D and F. We should have a lot. So 1 from Bernadette, but you could use her grenades. We'll get back to that in a second. Plus 3 for each Maquis. So that's 9, 10, 12. Which means exactly enough to kill half of these guys. Now, if she used a grenade and Christian used both of his sniper things, we could kill 4 of them. And I feel like we should, because this is like the main attack, right? I don't think we're going to add more things. So yeah, I'm going to go and use the grenade to discard for plus 2 firepower and both of Christian's personal sniper tokens. But I'm not touching the other 4. I'm going to save that for the north position. All right, so we take out 16 worth 4 out of 6. Seems really good. But then it says, if Z is not circled, you didn't improve physical defenses, give an injury to any one agent at position D. So if we injure a Maquis, they just die. So I'm going to... Oh, wait a second. I got this wrong. Bernadette's up at C. This is Yannick, and he does not have a grenade, but he has 1 more firearm. So I'll use 1 of our other firearm tokens to still make the result the same. Sorry, I messed that up. But it means we still have the grenade. But yeah, so Yannick is going to get injured, so I can keep both Maquis there. So when you get injured, you see your stats go down. If you get injured again, you're actually dead. And if you're playing the campaign, you have 8 characters, and you pick 4 each time, but clearly people who are dead can't be chosen, so your options get more limited. Okay, now it says, if W is circled, it's not. Otherwise, go to 212. We're switching back to A. You feel your heart begin to race as you hear numerous vehicles approaching from the north. You lie in wait, body tense, as the main column of the German forces comes into view. At the front is a, Panzerspavagen armored car with a machine gun. It is followed by a line of 70 transport trucks. I know I've played with those in war games before. Loaded with troops. 2 are also mounted with machine guns. If Y wasn't Y the landmines? Ooh, I'm pretty sure it was. 230. As the Panzerspavagen thunders forward, there's a loud explosion. It was hit the Teller mine, 35 anti-vehicle mines that you planted across the road. As the smoke clears, you see its twisted chassis has collapsed, rendering it immobile, and the convoy has been thrown into chaos. Ha ha ha. Remove 2 red cubes. You could take this opportunity to ambush the Germans and potentially do some significant damage. However, against a force of such size, your survival is far from guaranteed. Alternatively, all or some of you could fall back to position C and report what you've seen. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. So it says I can move any number of agents from position A to position C, and the number can be 0. And then we'll launch an ambush. If you still have agents left to position A, turn to entry 109. I'm going to ambush them, man. Odelay, you got this. Knowing this could be your last charge, you launch yourselves into the fray. The Germans are surprised by your sudden appearance, and you manage to dispatch many soldiers, pushing forward into the blood and chaos, determined to do all you can. Okay, remove 1 red cube. That ain't enough. And then if X is circled, the mines have been perfectly placed to cause the best conditions for an ambush. Oh, it is circled. I don't remember why, but okay. Remove 1 additional red cube. Oh, man, they're down to 3 already. We're doing awesome. Okay, then for every 3 points of firearms in position A, remove 1 additional red cube from the north, and then see how many are left. Every 3 points of firepower at A. Okay, Odelay's got 2. I'm going to use 1 of my 3 bonus tokens to make her 3, and then her 1 Maquis got 3. So that's 6 firepower. Dude, are we sure we're not going to win this fight? I feel we're going to win this fight. How many red cubes remain? Only one. Awesome. Okay, so we're getting like the good result where they theoretically don't murder us back. 165. You've decimated the first wave of the attack force, but at a cost. Uh-oh. Any 2 agents units at position A are killed. Oh. Oh, God. Odele. I didn't... I should have... I'm sorry. Oh, and the Maquis are dead too. No! Maybe it wasn't worth it. I mean, we killed, like, everybody, though, right? Like, I don't All right, sorry, Odele. Sometimes they'll be, like, left alive and mortally wounded, and they still get to contribute to the mission. But, yeah, she's just straight up gone. Oh, that sucks. Okay, let's see. If Y is circled, yes, and red cubes remain to the south of the map, 3 of 7. Oh, I guess they heard the explosions. The force of the south continues to press forward across the march. Give an injury to any one agent or unit position D. Oh, no. If I injure him again, he's dead. Now I'm going to kill one of the Maquis. Sorry, guys. Suddenly there's explosions. One of the mines you planted on the road goes off. Remove 1 red cube from the south. Heck yeah. Okay, then if position D is either empty or only has mortally wounded agents, no. Otherwise, for every 4 points of firearms to position D and position F, oh man, remove 1 red cube from the south. I mean, they're all dead, right? Yeah, Yannick's down to 1 firepower, but he's +2, so that's 3, 6, 9. Yep, okay, we went overkill here a bit. Okay, it says further up the road, you see another wave of troops approaching. If W is circled, no. Oh no, what? Add 6 red cubes from the supply to the north of the map. Okay, if S is circled, add 3 more. No. Okay, that's not fair, y'all. Reinforcements, killing Odeleg. What the heck? You feel that you can't hold the Germans off much longer. The Maquis agents with the information on the German intelligence will still haven't returned. If you fight on, you risk your lives and the lives of the Maquis, and your first objective was to get them to safety. But if you withdraw, you'll fail your second objective to obtain the information on the German intelligence facility. If you choose to fight on, you will possibly be able to move some agents to different positions. I'm fighting on, baby. I mean, we lost 1 person, we lost 1 Maquis, but we still got a lot of people. We can do this. Okay, if you have at least 1 agent unit at position B to secure an escape route, you may move other agents units from position B to C for support. Yeah, no, they did have an errata that you have to leave at least 1 behind. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so I only have 1 at B, so I can't move anybody else. I already knew they weren't coming there. Okay, and then if you have agents and units at both D and F, they can provide covering fire for the other. So you may move any and all agents' units from one of position D or position F to position C. One of D or F to position C. Oh, let's move, well, shoot. They're all looking at the wrong way, and none of them can see where the actual enemies are. So who's more useful here? Christian's got 2 firepower and 1 Maquis, and he's injured. Yes, so, okay, I'll send Christian and those guys. Okay. And then Bernadette's over here with the grenades. We got a lot of, I mean, it's not enough, but we got a lot of force. Okay, your forces fall back and surrender some ground, briefly exposing yourself to enemy fire. Give an injury to any 1 agent or unit position C. I'm not going to get rid of a Maquis. Let's injure Bernadette, because she's already 1 firepower. So yeah, she just loses 1 technical, but she's not going to be fighting well regardless. You quickly take up position behind some low walls, peppering the German forces with bullets. Then you see that a group of Maquisards are gathering around the house occupied by their wounded leader, Felix Albin. A squad of Germans is closing in on them. Dr. Ziegler and Jacqueline emerge carrying Felix as 2 Maquisard fighters fall to German bullets. Felix, now conscious, suddenly breaks free and pulls away from them. "Go!" you hear him shout. "I'm too slow and I won't have others die for me." He turns to Jacqueline and says, "You will be a great leader, Mother. I'm sure of it. Tell Marianne I love her." This is quite a conversation as they're getting shot. Very cinematic. Jacqueline reaches for him, but Felix turns and runs towards the soldier, his guns drawn. His mother screams and tries to follow, but is pulled back. The Germans are startled to see Felix charging towards them with all the remaining strength he can muster, and at least 3 of them fall to his bullets before one of theirs strikes him. The first hit is followed by a barrage, sending him to the ground. His actions give Jacqueline, Ziegler, and the other Maquisards the chance they need to get away and take cover. The Germans are closing in. With everything you've got, you launch 1 more offensive. Oh, man, for every 5 points of firearms at position C. All that matters is C. Remove 1 red cube. Use every firearm token you can. This is your last chance. Crud, I don't think we have enough. Okay, here we go. So we've got 3, 6, 9, 10, and then Bernadette will throw the grenades. That makes it 12. And then Christian doesn't have any more tokens, so that's just 14. And then we can use both of these to make it 16. So that's only enough to kill 3 of them. Oh, we are going to die, y'all. The intense bloody fighting continues, but you're determined to give the Maquis agents time to get back to the camp. Okay, for every 3 red cubes on the map, give an injury to any 1 agent or unit position C. If you reach the point where there are no agents units position C to give injuries to, you must give those injuries to agents at other positions. For every 3, so I don't think you round up. So I'm going to have Christian get injured to still have the maximum number of people. So everyone left alive is injured, but we have a lot of Maquis left. There's a signal from the Maquis to the south. The agent with the information on the German intelligence facility returned. It's time to withdraw and make your escape. Okay, end of encounter. Return any tokens on the map and all advantage tokens to supply. How many Maquis units survived the battle? No, they don't care how many Germans are left alive? Oh, that's right, because they would have killed a lot of us. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seems great. Yeah, best result, 368. I mean, best result except for Odelay being dead, everyone being hurt. Not only have you successfully completed both your objectives, but you also performed outstandingly at Objective 1. The Moret Maquis remains strong, ready to continue fighting for freedom. Heck to the yeah, 351. Oh yeah, so Odelay is killed. And we got success and success. As you head into the forest with the Maquis survivors, you glance back. Through smoke and flames, backlit by a crimson sky, you see German trucks rolling into the ruined village. Excited shouts echo over the hills, but whether in triumph at your defeat or despair at your escape, you aren't sure. Then your eye is drawn to an armored car that is stopped next to the dilapidated house outside which lies the body of Felix Albin. A tall figure emerges from the car, the glow of a cigar between his lips, and the salutes from the surrounding men tell you this is someone of importance. It's difficult to see him clearly, but you get the impression of an angular face and small, close-set eyes. He walks up to Felix's body, kneels, and puts his cigar out on the dead man's face. You jerk. As some of the German soldiers let out whoops and cheers, you turn away, your feelings torn between relief that you evaded such a man and anger that you could not stay behind and put a bullet between his eyes. Ah, this is awesome. So cool. It doesn't keep track of who was injured, so I think all 3 of my people will recover before their next mission. I got success in both. I don't have Odelay anymore, so I'd have to bring in other people from my pool of now 7 agents to go to the Taylor of Brunei. That was freaking great. Wasn't that great? I don't know. I mean, maybe like listening to me read it was not as exciting, but dang, that battle was awesome. I felt like I was, again, like in a war movie that was so freaking cool. And again, based on whether Q was checked or not, I think the battle would have gone very differently. There's an entire battle that I didn't even see, just kind of like skimming through the other materials. I could have gone a different insertion point and changed things up a bunch. So it seems like you're going to have at least 2, if not more, plays for each mission. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, that was a blast. Great job to Dave Neal and David Thompson. I enjoyed that thoroughly. I'm going to go play mission 2 and mission 3, maybe replay mission 1 to kind of see how things change up in the coming weeks. And then I'll have a review when I can get to it. But wow, that was awesome. So thanks for watching, everybody. And a special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Steve Wren, Wayne Scott, Pedro Lucas, Miles, and Nick Skeen. We'll see you at the next stop.